Self-improvement is no longer just a tool. It has become an expectation. There's this constant pressure to optimize, to evolve, to upgrade yourself in every possible way. And somehow just living, just being, just existing began to feel like falling behind. And today I want to talk about why constantly trying to become a better version of yourself is leaving so many people exhausted and what's actually missing from the conversation. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Veronika, and on this channel I make videos about self-improvement, sustainable habits, and creating a life you love. If you like to use Notion just like me, I highly recommend checking out my Life Design Notion database. It's an all-in-one system to plan your days, set your priorities, and track your habits. It's something that I use every single day. I literally have it open on my computer right now. If you want to check it out, I'll leave the link in the description. Alright, so let's talk about why I started feeling that self-improvement is no longer just a tool. Originally, self-improvement didn't start as a lifestyle. It started as a tool, something you used when you needed it. You read a book, you changed a habit, you learned a skill, and then you just lived. Your actual real everyday life was something that was actually teaching you a lot of things. The goal was always living through every single moment while being very present. But somewhere along the way, self-improvement stopped being something we used as a tool and started being something we were expected to perform daily. I feel like right now self-improvement feels like a requirement. If you're not constantly optimizing, if you're not learning a new skill or implementing a new habit, you're immediately behind. Like there's something wrong with you. And I've experienced this pressure to optimize every single part of my life so much. Like optimizing my mindset, my habits, my body, my finances, so that everything is always perfect. And one little thing, or we can call it a habit, that actually helped me look at this whole process of self-improvement through a different lens is taking walks around my neighborhood just because. Without being on my phone, without talking to anyone, without holding my phone in my hand, without listening to a podcast, just walking, like a 20-30 minute walk. To be honest, when I just started practicing this habit, it felt very strange because it felt like I was just focusing on one thing and one thing only. Just walking, and that's it. And I also think that a lot of us try to pack our days with useful activities. And honestly now, taking these walks feels so nice. It feels like this is exactly what my nervous system has been craving for so many years now. Right now, one of my biggest goals is to remove friction in areas that truly matter, to simplify and to create systems that support my life and my long-term plans. That is why I'm so happy to partner up with Brevo on today's video. Brevo is an all-in-one marketing and CRM platform that helps you manage things like email marketing, automations, SMS, and even WhatsApp. And what I really like about it is that it's built to be simple and easy to understand, not overwhelming. Instead of constantly switching between tools or manually doing everything yourself, Brevo allows you to set up automated, personalized communication with your audience, so your work can continue without you having to do everything yourself. It's especially great if you're a creator, entrepreneur, or small business owner who wants to build real relationships with your audience. You can see what's actually working through analytics, segment your audience thoughtfully, and communicate in a way that feels intentional instead of reactive. If you've been here for a while, you know that I have a weekly newsletter called Aligned. I talk about it all the time, and I always encourage you to sign up because for me, it's one of the most meaningful ways to stay connected with you. That's why I really love that Brevo lets you manage all of your email newsletters and other marketing automations in one simple place. If you want to try Brevo, you can use my link and my code VeronicaMark50 to save 50% on their starter and standard plans for the first 3 months. It's only valid for new paying customers, and I leave all the details linked in the description. Thank you so much to Brevo for sponsoring today's video. Alright, so another thing that I've been noticing recently is that FOMO is no longer about places. For a long time, I would say FOMO was a little bit simpler to understand. It was about places you weren't at and experiences you weren't having. The concert you skipped, the trip you didn't take, the party you saw on someone else's Instagram story. It was external and visible. You could easily pinpoint what you were missing. But I think right now what I'm seeing more and more is that FOMO is no longer just about places. It's also about who you are becoming. Now this anxiety isn't just I should have gone. It's also I should be further along. And suddenly staying home, resting, taking walks, or simply living your ordinary life feels like it's not enough. Like it feels like you're already behind. You're not missing a place anymore. You're missing a version of yourself you think you're supposed to be. And I think, at least in my case, psychologically, that hits so much deeper than regular FOMO. Because now we're internalizing that feeling. We're internalizing the experience of FOMO. But the problem here is that the more you chase this new identity or this feeling of constant progress, the harder it becomes to enjoy your actual life, to romanticize your everyday experiences, and to be grateful for everything you already have. And one of the major consequences of all of that is that life starts feeling like a waiting room. You're constantly waiting to get closer to that amazing, best version of yourself. You're waiting for your confidence to unlock. You're waiting for success to arrive. You're waiting for healing to be done. And so you're always tying your readiness to future conditions, to future life. Until then, you're in preparation mode. You start feeling like living is something you will do only after you improve. But life is not a destination you arrive at once you finish working on yourself. Once everything about you and about your life is perfect. Life is what is happening with you, around you, while you're waiting. Okay, now I want to talk about this interesting phenomenon I've noticed, the endless project of the self. In psychology, there's this concept called perpetual insufficiency. You're never enough, there's always something to fix, there's always something to optimize. We always want to get closer to this solved self. But unfortunately, the reality is that this destination doesn't exist. There's no final version or final OS where life becomes smooth and predictable. And so my whole point behind this video is that I want you to look at the process of self-improvement from a different lens. Because the most successful people are those who learn to manage their imperfect reality, not those who have perfected it. Because if I'm constantly chasing this high, what usually happens is we experience betterment burnout, the exhaustion that comes from treating yourself like a project that never ends. I want to remind you, you are not malfunctioning software. You're not a broken system that needs constant updates. You're a human being, and you have finite energy, complex emotions, changing seasons, and unpredictable life circumstances. Trying to optimize yourself as if you were a machine ignores how humans actually work, how your nervous system functions. And no wonder you're tired of constantly becoming. This whole idea with this video came to me when I was taking my unproductive walks. When the only expectation I had of me was relaxing and having a good time. Because something that I realized during those walks is that growth is always happening. Even when you're doing nothing, and maybe especially when you're doing nothing, when you're allowing yourself to feel bored, when you're not constantly stimulating yourself with your phone, with your computer, with new knowledge, with a new podcast, because your nervous system needs that time to chill. And when we only value visible progress, we miss so much of what is already happening. When I just started taking those walks, I felt like it was a huge waste of time. But then I realized if being present is a waste of time, then what's the point of anything? Just being present in the moment cannot be a failure. The people who seem most at peace and aligned with what they're doing aren't the ones who perfected themselves. They're the ones who learned how to live inside an imperfect, chaotic reality without postponing their life. Now, I think it's going to be it for today's video. I really hope you liked it. Please let me know all of your thoughts in the comments. If you want to check out Brevo and use it for all of your marketing automations, I leave the link in the description. Now that you know why constantly trying to become someone better can make you feel exhausted, the next step is understanding where that pressure actually comes from. I made a video where I talk about why so many of us feel like we have to perform to be worthy and how that pressure follows us into self-improvement. So you can watch this video next. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here. Like and subscribe if you can, and I'll see you in my next video.